Shalom Israel. Yeah man, thanks for joining in again. Today we are chat about former police officer Daniel Holtzclaw, who was found guilty on 13, count them now, 13 felony charges. So it just goes to prove to you there needs to be a stricter psycho-evaluation process to become a police officer. Cause a lot of these officers, they wouldn't pass it. In case you missed it, because it was not covered by mainstream media, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw has been recommended to serve 263 odd years in prison by the jury. Even though he's not sentenced, I hope they give him those 263 years. So I want to big up OAN News for covering this story on a nationwide level. For those who don't have the cable provider that carries this family-owned channel.
The defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and set punishment at 8 years. Count 2.
A former Oklahoma City police officer is convicted following accusations of sexual abuse. On Thursday, Daniel Holtzclaw was found guilty on 18 of the counts he faced, including first-degree rape, oral sodomy, and sexual battery. A total of 13 women between the ages of 17 and 58 came forward accusing Holtzclaw of various sexual crimes. Prosecutors say he targeted drug addicts from poor neighborhoods while on the job because they were less likely to speak out. The jury recommended he serve a total of 263 years in prison. He's set to be sentenced next month.
The only other channel, because there's only 2 channels that I saw that carried this story, was of course the Rock of the Black Community. That is the Roland Martin TV1 channel program, News One Now. So I'm going to big up to them, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what they had to say about it. Their coverage of this wicked travesty that was done to these 12 beautiful black women and one perhaps pretty teenage girl was a little more extensive than OAN. They even interviewed the 59-year-old grandmother, Jannie Liggons. On the News One Now thing, y'all can hear Jannie Liggons give her step-by-step account with that beast of mankind, Daniel. She also hired a great lawyer, Benjamin Crump, who's known for work in the Trayvon Martin case, amongst other Black Lives Matter movement legal matters. However, it was Miss Janine, the grandmother, who was a woman with a clean police record, that was able to get this police officer indicted out of the 13 women because she was the only one with a clean record. So let it go to show you this brother was targeting women with criminal records, and he messed up when he tried Miss Liggons.
Good morning, Sybil. Good morning, Jay. On Thursday, Daniel Holtzclaw convicted 18 counts of sexual assault case that was ignored by national media, when he was accused of raping, sexually assaulting 13 black women. Many folks said he would have gotten away with this if he had continued on his path by going after women who were accused of being prostitutes and drug dealers. But it was a 59-year-old grandmother who had no history of being involved with police, who reported him. That started the investigation. She joins us right now in this exclusive interview. Jannie Liggons right now joining us. Jannie, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Attorney Ben Crump, are you there as well?
I am, Roland. Good morning.
Good morning, Jannie. I want to start with you. Janie, I'm sorry. I want to start with you. This is, first, is obviously stunning. Lots of folks in national media ignore this. Was there ever a point when the jury was deliberating, nearly 50 hours, where you thought, man, this all-white jury is going to let this guy off?
You know what, sir? It really wasn't. Because in my mind, it was like, he's guilty. It wasn't for me, no, sir.
When you saw him in court Thursday, shaking and crying and twisting and mouthing to the jury, how could you do this? What was going through your mind as you heard the judge read guilty, guilty, guilty?
What was going through my mind was reading guilty, guilty. I was relieved. That's what was going through my mind. I was glad to see justice was being served.
Can you take us back what took place? What happened on the night you were sexually assaulted? You were coming from a friend's home?
Correct.
And what took place?
What took place was that I was leaving a friend's house, and when I approached 50th and Lincoln, he drove beside me, then he got behind me, got the top of the female, and he stopped me for no reason whatsoever. When he stopped me, he came into my car, and he made me get out, and he did things to me. He fondled with me, and he made me get into the back of his police car, sir. And after that, he made me expose my private part, took his flashlight, and he shined it over my body. But I was so afraid. I was out there all alone and helpless. I didn't know what to do. I was just praying to the Lord, please don't let this man kill me. And then he exposed his male genitals, and after that, he wanted me to give oral sex on him, which I was so afraid. I was just praying for my life and telling him, sir, please don't do this, sir, please don't. I'm a 57-year-old grandmother, and he didn't care. He just told me that's what he wanted me to do. But I was afraid that he was going to kill me. So he was a police officer. And a police officer, I'm like, oh my God. My life flashes for my eyes. I said he's going to kill me. He's not going to let me live. Doing something like this to him, I had nobody to tell. I was just so afraid. I was looking at the gun on the side of his holster. And I know when I bent my head down and do what he wanted me to do, he was going to pull his gun out and shoot me. And I kept telling him, sir, you're going to shoot me. Sir, you're going to shoot me. You're going to kill me, sir. He said, no, I'm not going to shoot you. I'm not going to kill you. He said, I promise I'm not going to kill you. I said, you promise? He said, I promise. And I bent down. My heart was racing, beating fast, looking at the gun on his side. And I said, bent down to give him oral sex. I did it for a second. I held my head up, crying and rubbing my hands together. Sir, I just can't do this. I can't do it, sir. And then he still made me do it. And then he backed up and moved and let me out of his car. And as I was going back to my car, with my back turned, I just knew he was going to shoot me in my back. I said, oh, God, he's going to shoot me in my back. And I was just saying, thank you, sir, just to get away to my car and just wait for the gunshot go off. But he let me live. But the thing about it, I have a criminal record. I have, haven't really been in jail for anything.
Right.
He just stopped the wrong woman that night.
Ben Crump, I want to go to you. National media pretty much ignored this case, which was stunning in itself. You heard testimony where even this officer would go to another woman's house and force her boyfriend to leave the home. This was a sexual predator with a badge and a gun.
Absolutely, Roland. A serial rapist with a badge. And it's still quite incredible to me why there was no national outrage, no outcry for these 13 women. And I'm so thankful to you and TV1 for covering it. But really, it was ignored. And if this was any other group of women, there would have been a national outcry, the one we have never seen. A police officer raping women in the community. It was just unbelievable. And that's why, Roland, on January 21st, anybody who calls themselves a national leader who stands for women's rights needs to be in Oklahoma City for the sentencing, because these black women's lives matter too.
Jannie, you could have been silent, but you certainly had the courage in getting with your family to call police officers. And do you believe that because it was 13 black women, that the case was ignored by national media because these were black women?
Yes, I do, sir. I do.
How long
Like you
between...
said, it was...
I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, go ahead, ma'am.
I'm just wondering, how long between when this act occurred and you decided to go before the authorities and report it, and what was the reaction there?
I was reported immediately as soon as it happened. As soon as that happened, and they were just in disbelief. They couldn't believe it. So they called and they chief of police, and then they took me to Staff and Chambers Hospital with their hospital, and did DNA twice and so forth. And I had a crime detective come over there and talk to me, which her name was Kim Davis, and I really appreciate that.
And civil, let me say this, it's so incredible. Jannie is a hero, an example to all rape victims, because most people never come forward. She came forward, and she came forward against a police officer allegedly raped her. So how daunting was that?
Jannie, we certainly appreciate your courage. We thank you so very much for doing that. And again, getting justice for Daniel Holtzclaw. We certainly appreciate it. Big Crump, thank you very much as well.
So this guy, he's a serial raper, a sexual savage, and he did not keep his oath as a public servant. Now, many know Hebrews and Hebrew Israelites know that Melech Shlomo, also known as King Solomon, said that there is nothing new under the sun. So let's go and look and see what the Holy Scriptures say about rape. I found Lamentations chapter 5 verse 11. They ravished the women in Zion and the maids in the cities of Yehuda. Now we know we are Yehudites and we live in these cities. So wherever we are, so is the El of Israel, Yahuwah of hosts. And we thank you, O Yahuwah, for allowing this judgment to be set forth in this day and time. You are the mighty one of Israel. Yahuwah of hosts is his name. My strength and my redeemer.